historically, where great revivals have taken place, where the wind of the Spirit has blown, if that revival or that awakening is not followed by the training of this kind of leader, a generation later, that land, that region is worse off than before the wind of the Spirit began to blow.
And these new believers and new churches all over the country, although they're enthusiastic, lack the necessary knowledge and understanding of how to grow and mature as Christians.
But our urgent need is to train church leaders and pastors for the next generation and for the future of the church.
It is as important today as it has ever been in history.
And that's why you need seminary. That's why you need a place where you learn to study and interpret scriptures.
Overseas Council is a ministry that works to find where Christian leaders are being trained around the world in the most effective possible ways, and then partner with the schools and the institutions that are doing that.
Overseas Council comes alongside the seminaries.
We work with seminaries, Bible institutes, and other strategic ministries in upwards of 60 countries.
They have committed themselves so strategically to the countries that usually have been neglected in terms of theological education.
We have some sort of influence or relationship with about 300 seminaries or Bible colleges worldwide.
We are so encouraged to see and to experience that we are not alone.
It is the most potent, most long-lasting, most enduring kind of involvement in the Christian movement that I can think of.
Theological education is not cheap, no matter where you do it.
And in so many parts of the world, the resources to open the doors to the sort of training that that person needs are lacking.
Con esa ley yo fui condenado en el 90.
I was serving a 33-year prison sentence in Colombia for murders I committed as a hitman for the drug cartel in Medellin. That's when a man who was part of the seminary prison ministry told me God had a plan for me.
They come with a calling, but they don't necessarily come with the resources.
In prison, I found a peace and a joy that I had never experienced before. And as I grew in faith, I started to preach in prison.
Our way of doing that is to provide scholarships that open doors to emerging Christian leaders.
That can make the difference between having a student here or not having a student.
Through a miracle of God, I was released from prison early and felt called to the ministry and wanted to go to the seminary in Medellin.
Scholarships are vitally important to our partners and to the students' lives and whom they touch.
Another miracle in my life was I was able to attend the seminary because someone in the United States, through Overseas Council, who I had never met, decided to give so I could go.
So giving to a student for a scholarship goes way beyond helping an individual. It's the future of the gospel.
Another area of particular interest for us over the next couple of years is the Middle East and North Africa.
It may be that the Lord in His sovereignty is bringing the kind of opening for the human spirit that will change the game.
You know, it's known in the media as the Arab Spring.
It's all about bringing Christian training into the lives of recent converts to Jesus Christ who very quickly become the leaders of other new believers.
So they can have a chance to be trained in ministry.
And so we're working in several ways in the Middle East and North Africa to do all that we can to get this resource into the hands of Christian leaders.
One of the good things we are aware of, how to prepare our students to interact with the changes happening in this region.
We cannot repeat history in this region, but I think with your assistance, we are able to remake history.
This is about how people respond in different cultures.
Another really important area of emphasis for us is our very intentional work on investing into the leaders of leaders.
Help them create the sort of atmosphere in their institutions that will allow them to serve effectively and responsively for the long term.
When I think of my past life, there is sadness, but I also feel joy because God changed me.
What they also need is expertise and encouragement, and that's where the Institute for Excellence comes in.
And so I find institutes are very crucial, or one can say is the heartbeat of Overseas Council ministry.
seminary leaders get to meet with their peers in their own region to discuss and to learn from each other.
In my own leadership development, I have found Overseas Council walking with me every step of the way.
Ya vive en luz y no en las tinieblas.
Now I pastor a church in the same neighborhood where I used to be an agent of violence. Now I serve as an agent of light and salt and peace.
Overseas Council has a special appeal to stewards of God's resources who are accustomed to taking the long view.
If you did not make a decision that you would invest and be a wise steward of your resources, this kind of project could never get underway.
It's a strategic investment when you talk about investing in Overseas Council.
It is worth it. It is worth it to spend your life walking alongside them.
I have a small part in what God is doing in raising up and maturing His church around the world. What could be more exciting?
In Africa and Latin America, in Asia and in other parts of the world, Overseas Council is impacting the world.
We get maximum leverage when we invest maximally in the people who are out there at the tip of the spear, driving, dreaming, and building the kingdom.
I believe so much in the promise and possibility of the Christian leader. I believe it because my life has been shaped by Christian leaders who were worth following. That sort of leader will never grow obsolete, and in my mind is more needed every day.